Monday, January 29th, the weekend after Clara's very first birthday. Oh my gosh, I feel like I can finally breathe a sigh of relief that it's like over, but also like I am sad that we're past this time. Oh my gosh, like I just want to like make like a reflection of this whole last year. One of my goals today, I did some cleaning yesterday, is to do the rest of my cleaning today. And then I want to sit down and write like a letter reflecting on this whole last year for my daughter to read someday, and I'm going to put it in her baby book. Because this was a big year. I mean, yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Like, I can't believe she's one, but I also can't. Like, the time went by fast, but it also was like appropriately like spaced out, if that makes sense. Yeah, but planning this party was a lot. I have so much more empathy and sympathy for my own mom when it comes to party plannings, and my mom is a mother of 6 children, so she's superwoman. Like, she does it all and she makes it look so beautiful, and she does so much for us, and she looks like she's got it under control. Like, she's never visibly stressed. She seems like she's having a good time, where like I felt like I was stressed to the max, and like I felt like during my daughter's party that I could not even enjoy it. Like, everyone got there. Once everyone got there, we were waiting on some friends. Once they got there and everyone saw the way everything was set up, I was like, okay, everybody help yourselves, eat everything. It was just like a lot, and I like remember sitting in the living room and thinking like I need to take a minute to just like soak it in and appreciate today. And because that whole weekend and that whole day especially, I felt like I couldn't enjoy any of it. I wasn't like necessarily looking forward to it either. Like, I was excited with how it turned out, and I felt like did a great job with the decorations and stuff, but I was just like stressed. Like, it's a lot. And granted, I think part of the stress was we had all of our family that was coming to the party stay with us, so I was stressed about space for everyone to sleep, and then just keeping things nice for the day of the party, having everyone's stuff put away for that. Yeah, that was just a lot more than I thought it was gonna be. So, but it was a beautiful day. It was filled with so much love, and I felt so grateful for everyone that came and celebrated her. Like, it was so wonderful, and I'm so blessed that I have people that love and care about us and Clara, that are willing to make the distance to come and have done that for her. I just wanted to like chat about the reflection of this last year, because it's been a big year, especially planning this party. I was thinking a lot about my mother-in-law and just kind of where we were at like a year ago versus where we are today. So my mother-in-law died from pancreatic cancer 7 weeks after Clara was born. So Clara was born January 25th. Then my mother-in-law came to visit and meet her mid-February. She was with us over Valentine's Day. We got to celebrate Valentine's Day with her. And then she went home and died on March 4th. So she had only been around for 2 weeks after she met Clara before she passed away. And I mean, we really truly feel like she held on for that time to meet Clara. And I think she just reached that like climactical moment and then just let go. And it was very fast. And like planning this party made me like think of her. I mean, she's been on my mind since she's left, but like really just, oh, sorry. Just honestly, like this whole year has been so difficult to like appreciate this new life and this new baby while mourning like the loss of a big one. And I just never thought we would be here like mourning someone so special and dear and big in our lives and big in our children's lives. Like I just did not anticipate either of me or my husband like losing a parent at this age. And it's hard because it's like having a baby is supposed to be super exciting and wonderful and amazing, and it is, but like now that that's like hand in hand with like missing someone and like dealing with grief and death, like this year has just been so difficult because of that. And when we hit these like big milestones, it makes me wish that she was here to see them and enjoy like where we're at. And just, she was so excited to be a grandma, and I wish that she could have been here for all of this. Like she would have just loved it so much. And I was excited to see the transformation in our relationship from having children. I just thought that that would just like make us closer and bond, and we didn't get that opportunity, and that makes me sad. I didn't want to like come on here and have that be what this is about. I just wanted to reflect kind of on this last year, but that has been such a big part of it. And the first 6 months were really difficult because I think I thought about Marsha like every day for the first 6 months, multiple times a day. And I really just like every day was really a struggle, and I was so up and down, like so happy and excited to see Clara reaching these milestones and doing these new things. And then I would be FaceTiming my mom, and then I would think that I wish I could FaceTime her. And it was just a lot like that. I just, oh, that was just so. And now that like time has helped scab those wounds a little bit, I don't think that we'll ever fully be like over this. Like this will be something that, you know, we will grieve probably for the rest of our lives, but I know that time will help it feel a little less, I don't know, like less heavy. Yeah, just like for me, it just kicks up when we've got things like this happening. And it's the first year still, and we're coming up on the 1 year in March of her death. So, you know, it really hasn't been that much time, but yeah, it just makes me miss her, and I wish that she had been here this weekend. I know she would have really loved it. And yeah, it's just a lot. So that's like a big part of the reflection that I have with looking back on Clara's first year of life, is just mourning and missing her grandma. But I know that she's no longer in pain, and she has the best seat in the house to watch her grandchildren grow and live life. It's just really hard wishing that she could be here with us physically. Oh gosh, I have to like come back to this because yeah. Okay, so I've taken a second to just kind of like calm down and like center myself. I washed my face, and I'm just prepping my skin. I'm gonna put on like some tinted sunscreen, stuff like that. But anyway, a reflection of this last year, Clara's first year of life and motherhood. Honestly, this journey has been, like, I feel like as a mom, I don't feel underprepared because I'm kind of in a special situation where I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and there is a 14 and 16 year age gap between me and my 2 youngest siblings. So I've been around babies for a long time. I'm the oldest of cousins, siblings, etc. And so that honestly has, like, I think helped prepare me. I also did some daycare and tons of babysitting jobs when I was in college. So I've been around babies, and specifically newborns, for a long time. I was in the room when my mom gave birth to my 2 youngest siblings. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely was like a transition being a mom, and, like, you know, doing those nights those first few months alone, and, like, adjusting obviously to, like, that really rough newborn stage. Like, that's an adjustment for anyone, no matter how much you've been around it or anything like that. But I never felt, like, underprepared or, like, overwhelmed in, like, the sense of, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I think also, like, your natural instincts really do kick in, and if you're with a great partner who is, like, going to help you along the way and is there to just support you and pitch in as much as possible, I think that that makes a world of a difference. Like, I think it's so important, and my parents did a great job instilling this in me and my siblings, is, like, picking a life partner that will be great for your children and for you for your entire life. Like, that is so important, to make sure that you are being so conscious of, like, who you're choosing to create children with. Because not only will your children reap those benefits, but you will too when you're in those difficult times. Like, having someone that just is helping you and is there with you and wants to be there with you and understands that they're there with you helps so much. And, like, for me and my husband, we planned having children at a very specific stage of life. I know that doesn't always happen for everybody, but we planned it to be where we were, you know, financially, etc. And that just also made that transition very easy for us. Yeah, we were able to really just, like, fully indulge and dive into this experience and be completely submersed in it, and it was great. So yeah, very thankful for that. So yeah, I mean, obviously it was, like, rough those first few months, but it wasn't anything to me unexpected. Otherwise, I think for me, in terms of, like, this motherhood journey, it's just been obviously dealing with other factors along with it has made it difficult and was unexpected for me in that sense, because you just don't plan to, like, lose someone in your life during that time. But yeah, I just had a lot of support and love during that time, and it was great. And I loved having a baby in the winter in a warm climate. That was great. I can't imagine, like, going to doctor's appointments and stuff with, like, a little newborn in the snow. So I'm really glad we had our first baby in January here in Texas. And I definitely had some really difficult days, just, like, when my husband went back to work. Like, trying to go to the grocery store for the first time was horrible. Trying to run any kind of small errand with a baby was, like, a huge learning curve, and had some really rough times, but you get past that so quickly, and you learn, like, to not go to the grocery store unless you're with your husband, I guess, and things like that. And so yeah, but otherwise, I think something that I was not expecting was to feel like I didn't know this baby. Like, also, like, to see my daughter and her personality and who she is now, like, you just, when you bring that little bundle home for that first time, like, for me anyway, I was like, I just was, like, so curious, like, who is this person? Like, how are they going to be when their personality starts to emerge? Like, what are they going to be like? Is she gonna be like me? Is she gonna be like her dad? You know, that was something that I was just like so curious about, and like, I don't know, that was kind of wild to just like think like this is just like a random little baby kind of, and you just don't know who they're gonna blossom into. And that's like part of the fun too. Like that was so fun to start to see her personality come out when it did. And I mean, the nurse said, which this is true, you can kind of see like those like basic characteristic traits like pretty early on. Like she was very chill when she was born, super chill, and didn't really cry a whole bunch, like not super fussy or anything like that. And they were like, oh, she might be very like chill, and she is, and she was, and she's like her dad in that sense. Like she's very relaxed, and like overall just a very good baby. And she's like more serious like her dad is, which is kind of funny that you could kind of notice that a little bit in those first few hours with her. I think for myself, like something else that was unexpected was I thought that I would feel more back to normal sooner. Now I had a traumatic birth, so physically that was, you know, something that isn't normal and goes differently for everyone. But I thought like, you know, 6 months postpartum, I would probably be back going to the gym every day and doing my thing and all of that. But it is so hard to find the motivation to do that when you're running after a baby and taking care of a baby, and like you just kind of, you know, it's hard to trust other people to watch your baby, and it's hard to find the perfect time to do it, and it's hard to be present when you're doing it. Like at least for me, it was like hard to be present at the gym. My gym daycare, they have obviously like hours that they're open, and during my daughter's wake windows, like I could only be there for like an hour or something like that. So I felt like I was like really watching the clock and like having to hurry through my workouts, and like that just was like unencouraging to me to continue to go for a while. And I just thought that I would be like back in shape and feeling normal and feeling great and all of that like 6 months postpartum, and that has not been the case, but that's okay. And I've also found that it doesn't bother me as much. Like I think for me, having a baby, it's made me think like my body is really strong and wonderful and capable of this, and it like the way it looks is like less important. I feel like I should have like written this down, like things that's just kind of crazy, like how much they grow in that first year. That first year is like the most transformative for you and your baby. And yeah, I think also too, like those first few months, I thought to myself, like, how do people have 2 kids or like more than one? Like I don't understand that feeling of like being ready for another, or I didn't for a long time. But then once my daughter started sleeping through the night, and you know, especially when she started to sit up by herself and crawl and then walk, like, and entertain herself, like I was like, oh, okay, now I feel a lot better. Like once you're, you know, you can kind of put your baby on a routine, a good schedule and stuff like that, and you're just feeling like normal again, then I started to feel like, okay, yeah, I can do this again. Oh, my camera's gonna die. We'll have to come back to this. Okay, sorry, it's the next day. I had to charge my camera, and by the time that was done, I just had some other errands to run and stuff like that. So I figured I would like collect my thoughts and like regroup and try again. So like truly, generally, it's been, if we're talking about just like motherhood alone, without any like outside noise that has been kind of like affecting my journey, I would say that like it's truly been so wonderful and amazing. And I'm so blessed and lucky to stay home with my daughter. So just being able to completely be submerged in this experience and to be fully in it and experiencing everything with my first child has been wonderful and awesome. And honestly too, like I live away from where we're from. My husband and I moved to Texas, and being like fully independent and alone for a lot of that time has been a challenge, but also like I'm grateful that I was like doing all of it by myself and not having like a lot of distraction or like help. Like I feel like it's made me stronger and tougher and like forced me to learn more too, like being alone and not having a lot of help. Although I would say that sometimes it would have been nice for some relief and stuff like that. But I'm truly just thankful for the way that we approach this journey and the way this journey has unfolded for us. It's just been amazing. I was so excited my entire journey to see what she looked like, and then I finally saw what she looked like and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Like that was another thing, I wrote that down, like who your baby is, like who they become, and when they come out and when you see them, like it makes so much sense. Like you're like, yeah, that is my baby, like that is who has been here growing for 9 months. Like it totally just, it all like comes together full circle and makes sense. Like I just want to know what she looks like, I want to know her face, I want to see her, and I just couldn't wait to meet her. And then like meeting her was just like amazing. Like I just thought she was the most beautiful thing, and I was like, yeah, that's the face, that's her face. Like I get it, you know? I feel like for me, it feels like you've known your baby your whole life. Like when they become a part of your life and you take them home, you're like, that is my child. Something else that I feel like a lot of people get like nervous about when they become parents, or like what people say is like, it's not about you anymore. Like it's not your life, you don't have a life anymore and things like that, which like in some regards it's true. Like, and you should be fully ready and prepared to like make certain sacrifices socially, things like that, which is why my husband and I decided to wait until we were a certain age. We were a certain time frame into our marriage and like just a certain phase of life. Like we chose to just really try to be as prepared as possible and feel like we weren't missing out on anything. Didn't want to be in a space where we felt like we have any regrets or should have waited like a year or longer or anything like that. We chose to do that, and I know not everyone does, but we did, and I'm so thankful for that because I so totally don't feel left out of anything. I don't feel like I wish I had done this longer, wish I had waited longer, wish I had, you know, was in a certain phase of life. Like I feel like we did it at the perfect time for us. But I feel like a lot of people like say like it's not gonna be you anymore. Like you don't feel like yourself. But I still feel like me. Like I still feel like my regular independent self. Like I still have my own identity, and I just have like this little baby with me, you know? Like you still feel like you, and you still feel like you have like a separate life to live. In those early months, it's really hard and you're gonna feel like it's not, but you also feel like it's still me in here, you know? And you also see that your baby is like living a life of their own. Like it's funny because I was telling my mom, like she has 6 kids and she's always like, you know, I can say what I can, but ultimately like they lead their own lives and they make their own choices. And that is so true. Like I thought I would feel more like controlling over my child, and like, which obviously like, you know, I am in control and I'm setting boundaries in place and teaching her yes and no and all those things. But like I also like look at her, I'm like, she is her own person. Like she is an independent thinker. She will grow up to live her own life and lead her own life, and I want to prepare her for that as much as possible. And you feel, at least I feel like she's her own person, you know what I mean? And you deserve to have like a social break too. Like make time for friends, make time for yourself, like go get a pedicure if you can, like do things alone, have your husband or someone help you watch the baby for a little while, or like while the baby's sleeping, like take that opportunity to go to the gym or something like that, or go for a walk alone even. Like I think it's really important to do that, especially in those early months, so you feel like a singular person sometimes, and you will still have a life and stuff like that, and you just have this additional title as mom. So that's how I felt anyway. I have loved every phase of life with her, or every milestone with her. I've appreciated every month, and every month, like for me, it just like gets better. Like they get easier to take care of. They are self-entertaining. Like you're able to leave the house for longer periods of time and go do things together as a family or do things alone. Like it just gets easier. Of course, like those first few months are hard, and you're gonna have some really hard mom moments. I have had plenty, and I know I will continue to have those, but like, yeah, just this year, like it's just been great. Like when I'm reflecting back on it, it's just been great. And it's so fun to see your child become who they are. I feel kind of like this video is like rambling, but I don't know, it's just, I feel like I have a lot to say, but I also like, it's all the same. I guess to touch back on like the outside noise, because it unfortunately has kind of like affected my motherhood journey, like in general, you know, with my mother-in-law dying and stuff. It's made it harder if we're like looking at it all together and not just like motherhood singularly. Because yeah, there's just, you just don't anticipate like having something like this happen at this phase of life when you're so young and you're like approaching this new chapter. Like you just, I think my husband and I both, you know, everyone thinks that they're gonna lose their parents or a parent or an in-law when they're old, and when they've seen enough life and lived a lot of life and become grandparents and done these things, and then these random horrendous things happen, and it's just like, it just like blows you off your feet. Like it really does. And yeah, so with that, you know, there's been some hard times where I've like been really upset, and you know, I think to myself, like, I'm so jealous of other women that, you know, I've seen like a couple of my peers like become first-time parents or like announce their pregnancies, and you know, their in-laws are alive and well and their parents are alive and well, and I find myself being so jealous of those women that are like going into this journey with just everything being positive and beautiful and like nothing affecting it in a negative way. Because like my entire pregnancy, that was just hand in hand with my mother-in-law being sick, then giving birth, and that first year of her life was hand in hand with her dying and being gone. I'm just gonna read like the little note that I wrote, but I'm jealous of other women's first time into motherhood and their experience, the ones who are not mourning or grieving. I envy that now, because I think my journey of motherhood alone has been so easy and truly beautiful and wonderful, and that if I wasn't dealing with a death, it would have been even better and more lovely. And I'm jealous of couples who have both sets of parents, because you just, that whole time is just like so filled with love. And I would say like when my daughter was born, it was definitely like that. Like, but like we knew it was coming, and then my mother-in-law came to visit and we knew we were close, and it was just, it made that trip hard. And you know, also dealing with postpartum, I was not feeling great at all. Like I was exhausted, of course, too, and like just healing, just be in the moment and like appreciate her time when she was here. Oh gosh, I wish it could just all be happy and great. And you know, life is hard sometimes, and so yeah, that's just been difficult. But being a mom is great. I feel so lucky to be a mom and to be a stay-at-home mom at that. Like that's just been wonderful. So but yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my ramble. Glad that we were able to have our family and friends out for my daughter's birthday, her first birthday. It was so great that everyone came to Texas to see us and celebrate, and they could all get a break from the cold weather from where they're from. And I felt like I had a lot of help from my mom and my sister-in-law, like setting things up. Super grateful for them, and I thought everything turned out really beautiful and nice. I was very stressed like during that whole time, like the weeks building up and then the day of and all that stuff. Like hosting like people like that and hosting them in your home is like next level, but it turned out so beautiful and I would do it again. I do need to like get caught up on cleaning and getting my house back to normal, so that's how I'm gonna spend today. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.